Hey everyone, it is Chantal here from Online Business Marketing, and today I'm going to be talking about outbound lead generation strategies. And if you want to have a successful next year or every year, you're going to need to do as many of these babies as possible. But like anything, I always say, if it's not in your diary, it's not happening. Meaning that if you are not allocating specific time in your diary for marketing strategy, and then specific time for marketing creation, and then specific time for marketing management and implementation, and then a specific time for sales, making sales, which is a completely different thing. That's 4 separate different things. If you're not doing those 4 separate things, if they're not inside your diary, I bet they're not getting done, because there's no way they are getting done. And if they're not getting done, you're not making sales, or not making as many sales as you could be. So number 1, go and put it in your diary, those 4 specific areas. Today, I am going to touch on B2B, which is business to business. I'm going to talk about B2C, which is business to consumer or customer. And I'm going to talk about the service-based space as well as the e-commerce-based space. So as usual, I'll touch on all of those because some of them relate more to certain areas than others. At the end of the day, being in business is pretty tough. We've got to come up with creative stuff all the time. And we've got to come up with stuff that is strategic, so that we can be able to position ourselves in front of our ideal customers. And for many of us, that is both B2B and B2C, which means your marketing strategy just got huger because they're completely different. There's no way that your B2B and your B2C are the same. Some of the strategies are the same, but the customer journey and the way that you approach them are completely different. So whether or not you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or an innovator, or even a marketing manager, we're all marketing managers because we're all managing our own marketing. At the end of the day, you've got to be able to find new ways to generate new customers, and multiple ways. I mean, if I go through this list here, there are so many in here, and I do possibly all of them all the time, because the more you do, the more chances you are of generating leads. So firstly, let's just talk about inbound versus outbound, because some of you are like, what bound? Who's getting bound? But at the end of the day, how I like to say it is outbound lead generation to me is prospecting. You're going out and you are prospecting, whereas inbound is more about attracting. You're doing the know, like, and trust, putting out your content, and you're going, look at me, and you're attracting. But outbound is about going out, and it's about actually attracting those leads. And there's things like, cold calling, cold emailing, DMing, appointment setting, email campaigns, any promotional sort of activity. But at the end of the day, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, or a smart way to do it versus a non-smart way to do it. Because spammy ways are just going to get you a bad reputation, and nobody's going to opt into some spam content. So I'm going to give you some ethical ways today, including I'm going to give you the LinkedIn DM strategy today too. So, which is not even in our notes, but I just added them here specifically for everyone today. So it's about directly contacting your prospects, making sure they are the right prospects, and then engaging them. Okay, how do we engage someone? In order to engage someone, it really does have to be about them and what they're interested in. Else they're not going to be engaged. They're going to be bothered, and they're going to be annoyed. And when it comes to lead generation, again, it's about valuable content. It's about a strong online presence that's consistent. And it's about creating relevant content marketing that your ideal customer is actually going to be interested in. Because if they're not interested in it, they're not going to read it. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I went to a networking event, and some lady put up her hand, and I actually don't know who she is, but she's obviously in my email list. She put up her hand when they said they'd like to thank people. And she said, I'd love to thank Chantal because she provides weekly great content in her emails, and I was able to use some of that content, and it was so helpful last week. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know who this woman is. She's getting my emails, and she got value from it. That is a tick, tick, tick. I'm creating relevant content that is beneficial and useful for my customers. All right. People who say that emails don't work are not doing emails right. Let me say that right now, okay? When people go, oh, I don't read my emails. Well, no, but you are going to read something that's interesting to you. So if it's not interesting to you, you've opted into the wrong thing, right? But if you get the right person into your email list and you provide the right content for them and they're genuinely interested, they're going to stay. In fact, I say when it comes to email marketing, agitate them with so much of your points of difference that the wrong people will unsubscribe because I don't want to pay for them on my email list, right? And if they're the wrong people, they're the wrong people. So general doesn't work, fluffy doesn't work. So outbound's about reaching out to your audience. Inbound is about positioning yourself so that others can seek and find you and build that relationship with you. You need a strategy for both. You can't just do one without the other. You should be heavily focused on both. Where a lot of people go wrong is that they're doing inbound, which means every day they wake up, they go into social media and they post something and they run away, and that's it. They just run and dump, right? Post and dump, run and dump. That's it, gone. But they don't actually go out there finding their ideal customer and paying them attention. Okay. So important. And that's what we're talking about today. So if we just talk about percentages, statistics for those left brain people, 20% of companies that said that outbound strategies significantly improve lead generation by 20% in companies. Okay, so by using the right outbound strategies, you can improve your lead generation by 20%. It also helps with brand awareness, customer engagement, and 75% of businesses stated that outbound activities positively impacted their brand perception. Now, again, I have to say this, if it's done ethically and respectfully and in a non-spammy, non-sleazy way, it can be, okay? And in fact, when I did my notes to ChatGPT today, I had to use HI into the AI and put my human intelligence in because I had to change a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't agree with, like cold emailing, all right? There is a way to do it, and I'll share that way with you today. But for example, you can't just add people to a database and start emailing to them. You've actually got to get buy-in or opt-in from them. So the four most important things when it comes to an outbound strategy is, number one, you have to know specifically who your audience is. It's not everyone. You have to have a target so that you can shoot and focus and shoot that target. Number two is you've got to have the right content that addresses their pain point, their absolute pain point or goal or aspiration. That resource has to address it. And then the third part of an outbound strategy is you have to nurture them, because nobody buys after the first hello. They never do. It's a process. So you have to have a nurture sequence in place or nurturing process in place to build know, like, and trust. I'm going to go through that with you today. And then the last one, number four, is, of course, my favorite F word, which is follow up and follow through. Recently signed up a client probably 3 days ago. She inquired 3 months ago, and I've been checking up with her I checked up with her every week. Then I went down to every fortnight. Then I went down to every month. And then suddenly she signed up. That took 3 months. All right. But it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't followed up and followed through. So you just have to keep their name on the list until you get a no, a definite no. A definite no, go away. Not not today, because they're still interested. You just got to get a new angle. All right. We're about problem solving for people. When you genuinely love what you do, you genuinely want to help people, unless it's a definite no, continue to find ways to help and support those people. In fact, this particular person signed up, really funny, not so funny story, but she was actually struggling with perimenopause. And I actually sent her some of my suggestions from my health, wellness, and fitness days. And I think that actually got it across the line. So it had nothing to do with marketing at all. But it's just showing genuine care for someone. Not just sign up, this is what I can do for your marketing. Genuine care. What are you struggling with right now? How can I help? All right, cool. So here we go. Practical and tailored approaches for various business types. Okay. So let's start with B2B, business to business. Business to business is always a longer sales cycle. There are always more people involved and the process is always longer. So you have to allow for the time for people to make decisions and to ponder and consider things. It's not as fast, but you need to first identify your niche, introduce yourself to those people, and then give them a valuable resource that solves a problem so that they can opt into that or opt into a phone call. So if you're struggling with something, so for example, if Harry is talking to brokers and the brokers are struggling to sell salons, and Harry goes, I've got this resource for you. Would you like this resource that will show you another way for you to be able to sell your salons? They're going to, yeah, that solves my problem. Thanks, Harry. Thanks for that. And now I've opened up the line of communication. Then, of course, as I said, you've then got to continue that conversation. So you've got to continue emailing backwards and forwards, having personalized messages. And this is where automation can sometimes ruin things for you, or AI can ruin things, because personalized messages go a really long way, especially if you pay attention to their pain points and you address those pain points in those nurture sequences. It's really important. And these are notes that I added here because they're so important for you to engage them with specific questions. If you're an expert in what you do, you will be able to ask specific questions that are specific, not general, which will actually compel them to answer those questions and create a two-way conversation. And the last thing is that you can experiment with different elements like subject lines and calls to actions as well. And for those of you who haven't had a look, we did a training on DISC. If you go into free resources on the website under blogs, there is a training called DISC where we talk about sales and using the language of the customer in sales. Meaning if I'm outcome focused because I'm a D personality type, you telling me to lock it in and it's going to give me this solution, I'm interested in that. But if I'm an I personality, you have to ask me how my day is, how my family is, and how everyone else is, or else you're out. So understanding the personality types will help you personalize those messages as well. Or as Alison and Angelique might say, also use your intuition. Okay. Then number 2 for B2B is LinkedIn outreach. Okay. So firstly, make sure that your LinkedIn account is actually set up well and that it effectively communicates to a stranger what you do for who and how. Okay. Engage with, so, that's the part of setting it all up. But then you've got to go onto the platform and you've got to engage with industry related content and send personalized connection requests. Number 3 is utilize the platform for meaningful conversations and relationship building. Okay. So, hey, I really loved your post about what you said about this, and that. I'm an expert in this, and that, and I agree with everything that you said. I notice you're having this big problem right now. I have a couple of solutions for that. Would you be open to a conversation around that? Okay. So I think these are the 2 A's that I really like. Awareness. Awareness and acknowledgement. So awareness of what they're doing and giving them acknowledgement around them will help you actually bridge that gap. And then, of course, as I said, use non-spammy DM engagement or appointment setting strategies. There's nothing worse than, there's a guy that does it on Facebook all the time. He has 1,000 VAs and he just gets them to direct message absolutely everyone and say, do you want a VA? We can get you a VA. And I'm like, I'm a D personality type, but you haven't even said, hello, how's your day going? So that annoys me a little bit. And especially from a marketing perspective, I want a bit of connection, but I also want a little bit of your point of difference, which is what I'm looking for. So let's just talk about the LinkedIn outreach, the LinkedIn DM strategy, right? LinkedIn DM strategy. So number 1, I think I've got 5 steps and a bonus. 5 steps to the LinkedIn DM strategy. Number 1, you can friend that person and send them a personal note. Just a small casual one, introducing yourself, but with enough intrigue, okay? A little bit of intrigue as well. Possibly, hinting as to what your offer is and what your overall goal is. But this is literally sending them a friend request. So, I was going to say something rude, but I won't. But, it's just a hello, how are you? It's not the rest of it, okay? It is that first touch point. So number 2 is you then can either send them a DM or an email. And again, it's about engaging them, showing interest in them. And that's where that awareness and that acknowledgement comes into it, being aware of, going and doing a stalk, being aware of who they are and what they're working on right now, acknowledging some of that, paying attention to what their potential struggles may be, and then going and offering them a potential solution or engaging them and saying, would you like to have a conversation or can I send you a resource on that? Number 3, even if you haven't heard back from them, we know that on LinkedIn, people are only checking it 2 to 3 times per week. So again, it's a longer sales cycle as opposed to Facebook where they're checking it 8 times a day. So number 3 is then actually giving them an article. So if you've noticed, I don't know, maybe they were posting something about, really struggling with the heat on the Gold Coast right now, you're not going to be sending them a selection of jumpsuits, tracky dacks, and hoodies that they can buy and look at right now. It has to be relevant content that shows that you are aware of who they are, what they're struggling with right now, and send them that blog, article, ebook, and of course to have a call to action to say, ask a question. I particularly like paragraph 3. Have a read. If you have any questions, let me know. But refer to something in the document that evokes curiosity to get them to go into that document to have a look. Number 4 then is sending them another relevant email. Sending them relevant testimonials. So, or even a success story or case study. So it would be around, I really helped Mary be able to cope with summer on the Gold Coast. Here are some of the things that I did for her. Here is her testimonial and how she now enjoys summer. And if you want to be like Mary, I'm happy to have a discussion with you. So just making sure that it's very tailored and relevant to them. And number 5 would be a phone call. And I know some of you are absolutely quivering in your pants right now. But yes, good old-fashioned phone call, get the telephone number and give them a call. But I think the statistic at the moment is like 80% of people don't answer their phone. So usually what it means is if you do not know this person, have never spoken to them before, according to Swish Sales Academy, I've done heaps of their training, do not leave a voicemail. Instead, send a text that evokes curiosity, a little bit of intrigue, a little bit of who you are, a reminder as to how you connected. So we connected on LinkedIn. I just wanted to check back and see if you got that blog or found it valuable. Maybe you have any questions. Is there anything else I can send you? So just keep that conversation open. And then the bonus that I put in there is, and I really do love this approach, and this is my F word, my Friday approach, is that every Friday I go and I like, comments, and share some of their content. And really, if you do like them or want them as a customer or referral partner, you should genuinely be interested in what they are creating. So you should be able to add genuine comments and feedback and be able to share them. So like, comment, share, or even tag. Number 2, you can connect with other people in the company. So I did this recently. I tried to join a Toyota Hiace camper van group, and they kept denying me. And there's something like 30,000 people in this group, and they kept denying me. And I need to get into that group because I want to see what people are doing with their Toyota camper vans, right? And I went and I had a look at all 5 admins, and I contacted all 5 admins privately. And I said, hey, this is me. I got a Toyota camper van, and I want to join the group because I want to learn. They all came back to me and they said, oh, because you're a marketer, we're not letting you in. And I'm like, okay, I'm a marketer, but I have a Toyota Hiace and I want to know how to, I want to know how to use it. So anyway, I ended up speaking to the one lady, and the one lady was like, oh, I completely understand. And she let me in. So just because you are talking or trying to have a conversation with one person in that particular company, it may be worth you, once you've gone through all these steps, to approach someone else in the company because they may not be on the same wavelength as you. Number 3 is look for connection and connection and common friends. So go in and have a look and go, oh, Mary, I know Mary too, right? So, oh, Mary, I've known Mary for this many years. I also know Mary. So let them know that you've got a common friend, but also connection. I see you've got a black Labrador. I have a black cross Labrador. His name's Ziggy. So I'm looking for common interests. I'm looking for common friends, and I'm looking for connection. Okay. And then you can also name drop that connection point, or alternatively, you can actually go to Mary and say, hey, Mary, do you know this person? I'd love an introduction. And then Mary can actually introduce you to that person. So those are a couple of the bonuses for the LinkedIn DM strategy as well. And just remembering that LinkedIn DM strategy does not work as a Facebook PM strategy. It is a complete different etiquette, which we're not going to talk about today. Okay. So number 3 for the B2B is obviously webinars and workshops. So webinars or events, so online events or in-person events. So having educational events which address an industry challenge could help. So for example, I'm going to say it again. Joaquin, did I say it right? Joaquin, did I say it right? Yes, I wrote it down. So Joaquin. So for example, if he holds a webinar on NDIS cleaners and how you can get into the NDIS cleaning and gardening space without being a cleaner or a gardener, and they run a webinar on that because they become the industry expert, they're now attracting those people into their network and building their list. Okay. Again, you can also then promote that. You can promote that content, that educational content, workshops or webinars through your emails, through social media, and continue to capture your audience. And just remembering the F word again is follow up. So if people register for the event, but they don't show up, follow up on them anyway. This is also going to help you establish yourself as an authority in the space. So what happens is next time someone goes, oh, you're looking for a job and you really are passionate about the NDIS space, have you heard about Cherubs? Because they've been looking for someone. I keep seeing their webinars. I keep seeing them posting on social media how they're looking for carers. Caring cleaners. There we go. All right, so let's talk about B2C. B2C are your business to consumer, okay? So about engaging the masses. So this is about, again, that attraction marketing. So in social media, you want to be leveraging your accounts wherever your ideal customer are. But for me, I like to stay in the edutainment space. So education with a little bit of entertainment. So for me, it's around Facebook, Instagram, Google, and YouTube, because that's where the big boys are at, I feel, and I don't have to twerk in order to get clients. Make sure that you've got visually appealing content. That's why I don't twerk on TikTok, because that ain't appealing. Compelling visuals and relatable content, okay? And make sure that it is appealing to your demographic or your target audience that you are attracting. Number 2 is your content marketing. So when they say develop shareable content, people know other people that are in that same space. So for example, if Stephanie's creating a resource on this aqua aerobics fitness thing that can do much more than a noodle and much more than your own body in the water, and she creates this document, all the other aqua aerobics people are going to be like, oh my gosh, we need to share this with each other because have you checked this thing out? Look how much more you can do with this than you can with a noodle. Like why it's superior. So creating a shareable resource that people will want to share with their friends and go, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen what it can do for us? You want to make sure that you're optimizing your content for search engine optimization. So if you use something like answerthepublic.com, you can see what people are searching for on Google and on Bing and on YouTube. If you put in normally up to about 2 words works best, it will be able to create what most people are actually searching for right now. And as long as you create content around those areas and put that content online, you are now going to help your ranking. Showcase your products and your services in a way that resonates with your audience. So it needs to look appealing and aspirational to your audience. So, I've never understood this. It's a big joke all the time, but personal trainers always want to show their clients dying, like absolutely dying, like doing 1,000 burpees, like struggling to get up off the floor, sweating in excruciating pain and moaning. And the personal trainer's like, yeah, and posting it online. And you go, well, who's your ideal customer? Oh, yeah, 40 plus women who are like going into menopause, who, need to build strength. And here you are showing like an athletic man who's dying on the floor. That's not aspirational content. So make sure it's relevant and aspirational to the person that you're trying to attract. It's not about your ego, it's about you. So number 4 is user-generated content. So if we can involve our customers or our ideal customers in our marketing, we can create user-generated content. I know, Daryl, we did something around pool lights. Was it show us your pool lights? And then you ended up doing a competition where they had to show their terrible pool lights. And then over the period, it was a spinner thing. that he was able to go in and replace somebody's pool lights on their competition. So now what you're doing is you're getting everybody, all the public involved with terrible pool lights, posting all their pool lights. And of course, that now is increasing your content marketing as well. So content marketing, user-generated content, very important. And then, of course, getting reviews and testimonials. So it's an ongoing thing that you have to do. And I'm really excited to say that this new software that we've just purchased, we're in the process of doing it. It will actually help you to get your Google reviews. So I'm really excited about that. Number 3 for B2C is referral programs. We've got to look at encouraging customer referrals with discounts or even exclusive access. FOMO is really important, fear of missing out. And it really, really is important that it is a simple referral process. You know, for me, I prefer somebody to refer me in Facebook Messenger than in emails. And the reason is in emails, it gets lost. People go off, do that later, and later never comes. Whereas in Facebook Messenger, it's quite easy to strike up a conversation and continue it there. So make it really super simple. And make sure that you encourage your satisfied customers to become brand advocates for you. So remind them. We live in a busy world now. In the olden days, word of mouth referrals was quite huge. Now people forget. When they're not in front of you, they literally forget that you're the dance school that everyone must go to. As soon as they walk out of it, they forget. And someone will be talking about, oh, I've got to take my kids to a dance school, and they're not even thinking, oh, well, you know, Google it. And just that morning, they were at your dance school. So you've got to encourage people, or they think you're too full and you're not looking for more customers. So remind them, oh, we're still looking for more customers. You know, I'd love it if you could introduce me to someone. I'd love to be able to help more of your friends. Can you think of anyone else that you may know? So just, you know, just remind them. All right, so let's talk about e-commerce. So in order to capture the online marketing, email marketing and abandoned cart recovery is huge. I can't remember the number, but I think it was something like 10, oh, I don't want to get it wrong. It was $10,000 or $10 million was recovered in abandoned carts in active campaign on Black Friday weekend. Meaning that if you didn't have an abandoned cart in Black Friday weekend, you wouldn't have got a piece of that pie. All right, I'll have to go look at the stats. I'll post it in the comments. So at the end of the day, you've got to make sure that you continually building your email address with the right people, that when you send promotions that they are targeted specifically to that. So when you're talking to B2B, you're talking to B2B, and when you're talking to B2C, you're talking to B2C, that you have your abandoned cart, and the language of that cart is usually not the template that the company gives you, like the email marketing gives it. Try to be a little bit more creative, be a little bit more fun, and put a bit of FOMO in there and re-engage those potential customers. So for my one-on-one clients that work with me, they know that after you send an email campaign, I always say to you, go back and have a look at who clicked on the links. So we had 12 people over the weekend click on our Black Friday promotion. Guess what's happening today? Those 12 people are getting another email to say last chance to get the Black Friday bonus. Like, yes, Black Friday is over, but this is your last chance. Or maybe you've got questions, talk to Chantal. So re-engage those people. They're still hot. They had a look. Go and ask them why they didn't buy. Make sure you're personalizing your emails based on their behavior and their preferences. I always laugh about the lady who came to me and said, I'm selling a $10,000 program. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to email anybody. I just want them to push buy and buy my $10,000 program. And I said to them, even Tony Robbins has a sales call person. So, so sorry, sister, it's not going to work for you. So it can't just be right for you. It's got to be logical and right for the customer as well. So, and you have to pay attention to it because customer behavior does change. So the buying cycle does change. And then, of course, as I said, implementing those retargeting sequences for customers who haven't yet made a purchase. And of course, you can even consider putting up either a messenger chat in your social media or even on your website, because those messenger chats can handle any of those objections or answer any of those questions, so that then you can obviously make the sale. Number 2 is affiliate and influencer marketing. And I'm just going to, I snuck this in here. Please make sure that you always have an agreement. I've recently just been approached to speak at a women's business retreat in Sydney for 3 days. That means I've got to book tickets, fly there, take that time out of my calendar. I can't work those days. I need to prepare. So there's now a cancellation clause in there as well that says, look, if I market your event, you end up canceling it, you're going to have to pay a cancellation fee because potentially that's loss of income for me. So if you want to be a professional business owner, act like one, make sure that you have agreements in place. So establish partnerships with influence or affiliates, and there is a training on this in blogs under free resources on the website. Really, really important to have the same values as you. If they don't have the same values as you, and if it's not clearly defined, the relationship's not going to work, okay? There's a lot of so-called influencers out there that will take advantage of you or take your product and run. Offer commissions for sales generated through affiliate links, track and analyze affiliate performance and ongoing optimization. And as I always say to Daryl with his affiliates, make sure that you give them ongoing training and motivation, because if they don't have training and motivation on an ongoing basis, they get really slack. So you've got to keep whipping that horse. So let's talk about service-based businesses. All right, some outbound strategies for you. Networking events and conferences, okay? You'll notice I do a heck load of these. You want to attend industry events to connect with potential clients. So if your potential clients are there, go there with strategy. Make sure that you have an effective elevator pitch. And I have got heaps saved on my phone under notes. And I've got various ones based on my audience and their pain point. I often talk about being invited to speak at a mortgage brokers conference. And when I got there, I was under the impression that the people in the room were mortgage brokers. So my pitch and my presentation was to mortgage brokers and how they could manage their own profiles. But it wasn't. It was actually to real estate agents that were looking for mortgage brokers. So when I got there, I had to run to the bathroom and go whip up another elevator pitch and presentation, because doing that one would not have cut through. So I cannot say it enough. Be nifty. Always have some elevator pitches you can work off on your phone, and don't be afraid to read them. I would rather you read them than for you to go and completely look like a tool. I read mine for the first year of my life, and that's a true story. I would rather you read an elevator pitch than it. Okay. Establish a network of valuable connections to enhance your business reach. And another thing that you could do is offer like a free consultation. Now, let me just say this. A discovery call, I don't like offering a free consultation. It is, it could be a road mapping session, but I'm going to road map your path forward, but I'm not going to tell you specifically what that is, because you have to pay me for that. So I've got to give you the solution or the outcome of what that's going to be for us. But if I go and I give you that everything, then you will take that, you will run, you will attempt to implement that on your own, and then you don't need me. So it's really, really, really important that you still treat that as a sales or discovery call, and that the consultation is really a road mapping or discovery where you're actually listening to them and showing them how you can work together, but not actually solving their problem, if that makes sense. You don't want to talk yourself out of a sale. Number 2 is, again, webinars and podcasts, which we spoke about briefly earlier. But with podcasts, it's really a great way for you to either have your own and be established as an expert or authority, or to get onto your referral partners' podcasts. So you are now in front of their audience. Okay, so you want to get in front of their audience. Very important, because you can share your expertise and then you're allowed to make a pitch at the end. Often they'll allow you to do a soft sell or give out a lead magnet at the end. Join collaborations and webinars and podcasts as well, so you can leverage each other's networks. But it's a way for you to educate and to build trust. Number 3 is sharing customer testimonials and case studies. So again, just showcasing positive customer testimonials builds that credibility. Build case studies highlighting successful projects. So if you want to get into the aqua aerobic space, you're going to go and build statistics and case studies around the aqua aerobic space, so that you can have that and build up all the evidence to support that space and what you do. And then, of course, use those stories in marketing and in your outreach. Conducting surveys is really good as well. So, for example, using Stephanie again as an example. A great way to do this is to go, look, I'd love to survey your experience around aqua aerobics and pool noodles. This is the product that I have. This is what it can do, but I'd love to get your feedback on how it works for you. But literally what you're doing now is putting your product in front of them, but you're also getting some possibly negative things around how a pool noodle could possibly create chafing between your legs. You're getting that kind of feedback as well, and you're building your list of people who are interested in that. All right, so as the overachiever I am, 2 other massive sections here for you, so hold on to your horses. I went and threw this in, but I wanted to go deep into joint collaborations as well. And joint collaborations can be a great, effective outbound lead generation strategy. It can expand your network reach by collaborating because you're now in front of their audience. It's a co-marketing initiative, which means if they're doing the marketing and you're doing the marketing, based on the fact that you have an agreement on who's doing what, and you're both doing the marketing, you're now in front of each other's audience. So you're now growing even more. Think about getting on their podcast. Think about getting on their blog. Same thing, joint collaboration. Cross promotion, meaning why don't you share your lead magnet to my audience? I'll share my lead magnet to your audience. I have one less thing to share on my page. We're not in competition, but now I'm helping you to get leads and you're allowing me to market to your community and get leads as well. So cross promotion can be done on social media, can also be done in email marketing. Influencer partnerships, again, just tagging each other online or hashtagging each other online can increase brand visibility, or even endorsements like shouting them out. Content collaboration, shared blogs. I've just created a blog, you've created a blog, we're now sharing on each other's pages. Referral programs, you refer my customers, I'll refer your customers. It fosters trust because, if they think that you do what, if they're working with you and they having a good experience with you, well, then I'll have one too. Shared events and sponsorships, so hosting events or sponsoring industry related activities. So for example, Daryl in the UK with Strikehold right now is looking at sponsoring a cycling race so that they'll be the key sponsor of the cycling race in the UK. That's going to drastically improve his reach and brand awareness to all the cyclists in the UK by being the key sponsor, which is really important. It's one of the reasons why I host the speed networking event. People will come to me and they'll go, this is your event. And I'll go, it's actually not my event. It's Paula Brand's event. However, it looks like it's my event because I'm always on the microphone and I'm always facilitating it as the host. So again, it's just great credibility. And then strategic alliances. So, before we got on this call today, I was matching people up and going, you guys need to talk or whatever. Strategic alliances. How can you support each other with knowledge, with experience, with your target audience, or even with complementary products or services, so that it's a win-win for everyone. All right, so last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional, because as I said, I can't help myself, but 5, actually I'll throw in 6 outbound lead generation strategies to add to that. Number 1 is a Facebook group. So you can either have your own Facebook group where you attract people into the group and look after them, or you can go into other people's groups. Number 2 is gifts. Sending people gifts can really work well. So Daryl might send somebody a bottle of Strikehold. It's much easier to do when it's a low-priced product, much harder to do when it's not. But for service-based businesses, they could send out their book if they had a book to those people. Number 3 is an SEO audit. So I recently just did an SEO audit on Friday and found a whole lot of additional stuff that I could work on in my business. And there's a lot of free SEO tools that you can run your website through, and it will actually tell you what to fix, which is awesome. Number 4 is running a competition. They work exceptionally well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5 is phone calls or appointment setting. Get onto the phone and just phone people old school. Yes, they don't answer phones, but if you want to know which is the best day for people to pick up phones, it's a Tuesday. Definitely not on a Monday or Friday, especially if you're on the Gold Coast. That will just not work. But here's the thing, 71% of businesses prefer to get a phone call when they're interested in what the person is selling. So if you found the right person and you actually have a solution for them, I'm going to add 1 point in here. We have a solution for them, but they want a solution and they're willing to take a solution. If they close-minded and they're not a person who is interested in getting help, like at the gym, just because somebody's overweight and unhealthy doesn't mean they're going to sign up with a personal trainer. They've got to want to change, or else they're the wrong person. So there does have to be a mindset thing attached to that as well. I'm going to put that disclaimer in there. Then you'll be able to cut through. And the last one is letterbox drops. But letterbox drops, QR codes, things that you can have in places. I'll use a beauty salon. They had a coffee shop next to them. We came up with the strategy that the coffee shop would put in a discount code at the salon, because everyone at the salon would want a coffee, and they'd bring coffee in, and the coffee shop would have a QR code on where they could get onto the email list and download a special coupon for nails or hair. So they did a joint venture like that. So I'm just thinking of print, cards, flyers, QR codes, print media, that type of stuff. So that's my extra one. Or good old-fashioned sending out a letter to them. And there are a couple of other interesting ways of doing that. There's a book that I read by Brett Thompson. It's called Client Rush, and it has some super creative strategies on how to do those things and be memorable. So, okay, that's it. That's it for outbound lead generation. I threw in like 3 extra sections, one on the LinkedIn DM strategy, one on the joint collaboration strategy, and then another 6 bonuses on top of it, because I can't help myself. But if you do want to be part of the live audience and the conversation that we have after these events, you do need to be a VIP member. You can find the link in the comments below.